I mainly come on here today to tell you about one resource here on Alex Garrett Podcasting that I think you should know about. They're not paying for this advertisement. They're not paying for this advertisement, but I've been trying to talk about this for a little while. There are so many outlets out there, but one I sort of want to check out more is the 1440 Digest. Yes, they give you a bit of different things all over the place, whether it be technology, medicine, politics. They give you fair slants as well, and I thought, why not talk about a little bit about the 1440 Digest? And you know what? We need independent outlets to look at in a time where Joe Biden's documents keep popping up, don't we? By the way, thanks to Brendan for coming on, and I'm very excited that we did that remote from Houston Hall. I know it wasn't an official remote, but it was a remote, okay? It was a remote podcast, and hopefully we can do a sanctioned one by Houston Hall, in Houston Hall. I know the DJ there, DJ Marco, so maybe something can happen. How about that? But thanks for Brendan from Master Talk for joining, trying to put our show on YouTube as well. You can check that out, and check the links in the description. But yeah, as the documents continue to pile up, I'm very skeptical of the timing of this. I'm very wondrous how all of this is happening. I'm wondering why he took so many home. If it was him who took it home, I don't really know. But yeah, what a week it's been with that, because they continue to find more and more and more. And now it is home versus at UPenn. I'm not sure. And I want to say this. Ben and Jerry's, they are very liberal leaning, and so I figured, hey, for the president that they, I guess, help elect, I have a new flavor for them. Let's call it the classified Biden. That's the new ice cream of the day, since we know he loves his ice cream, right? But I digress. It is a serious situation. And that's why this other story that's been on my mind all week was by Brett Eastwood. He's a doctor. He wrote an article on 1945.com, 19 FRTY 5, about how the Republicans are trying to unimpeach Donald Trump. Look, the second impeachment, that was totally necessary. The first impeachment against Ukraine, that Ukraine call, is a 50-50 on that one. Second one, yes. First one, questionable. But here's my main argument to all of this. Is if I'm the Republicans right now, I don't even think about that. I just think that happened. No need to expunge the record. Kevin McCarthy has to step up and focus on these Biden documents. And he has to do a lot more on figuring out why, this migrant crisis keeps happening. There is so much that the GOP held House could do. I think focusing on unimpeaching and expunging the impeachment of Donald Trump is not the right way to go about it. I think it would basically turn people off from voting Republican in 2024. I think it would be a waste of time and a waste of tax dollars money. And I'm glad that I guess they got rid of the 87,000 extra IRS agents, which I didn't know they officially got rid of, but they did. So focus on things like that matter to the kitchen table of Americans. Focus on inflation and this debt ceiling. Don't focus on expunging the records of the past. That's the past. That happened. We have to focus on now. And right now, we are seeing interest rates creeping up again. Right now, we're seeing a debt ceiling and an argument looming. We still see a congressman who's actually seated on different committees, and George Santos continuing, to be found to be a liar. We have a lot of issues that expunging the impeachments of Trump have nothing to do with. So I appreciate the article by Brett Eastwood, and I'm curious to bring him on to talk about why he wrote about this and what his thoughts are, and that there's, I guess, a committee that wants to do this, but it's not the right time. It's nothing to do with the now, and the now is obviously getting to the bottom of the Biden documents. So unleash Jim Jordan on that, not so much on can we unimpeach Donald Trump. That's not the way to go politically. It really is not, in a time when, quite frankly, people are sick and tired of Trump, aren't they? But we'll have to see what happens. He takes credit for the 15-round drag out fight that got McCarthy elected, finally getting him there. But it would be unwise to focus on expunging the impeachments. I don't think the Democrats focus on expunging the impeachment of Clinton, if you remember. And just because he was impeached doesn't mean he was removed from office, but that did happen in 98, I believe it was. So very interesting. I might check out more what they say in 1945, but that one alone, can they unimpeach Donald Trump, really struck a chord with me because there's so much more to focus on, right? I think so anyway. And then one other note. Do you believe Sweeney Murdy, the guy, the WFAN pre and post game for the Yankees this past season and the last few seasons, actually announced on Friday he is leaving WFAN? So if I'm not mistaken, I might be the last person he talked to on record before leaving FAN just a couple weeks ago. And then, of course, as I mentioned, the Mets are inducting Howie Rose. So my promise to you this week is to combine both audio cuts, get highlights from both. The interview I did on WQMC Radio with Howie Rose about how he was in the upper deck of Shea Stadium taping himself doing the game. He actually advised young broadcasters to do the same. Upper deck. And now he's a Mets Hall of Fame announcer, okay? That is his journey. And, of course, it went through Queens College. We talked about it on WQMC Radio. I will pull some of that audio as well. I promise those two clips to you this week. And, of course, big birthday week here in these parts with my stepdad, Vic, and my dad, John. Both celebrating their birthdays this week. So it's been a busy week. And if you're listening and interested, I'm going to be possibly on air with Joe Piscopo tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., 970 The Answer. Definitely going to be engineering for them tomorrow. So be on the lookout. Keep your ears in tune, if you will. AM 970 The Answer, as always, tomorrow at 6 a.m. and then 12 o'clock at noon. A lot of stuff happening, but I had a vent about this because if they focus on unimpeaching Trump, they're going down the wrong avenue. This is not something you should focus on in a time where even modern Democratic voters are asking for investigations into the Biden classified situation. Classified Biden, could that be a good new nickname for him? I don't know. Very strange what's going on, but focus on that and not expunging the impeachment of a former president. That would not do the GOP well in their majority on the Hill. I'm Alex Garrett, and we'll talk to you soon. A very brief Sunday pod, I know, but it had to be said. Don't focus on expunging the impeachment, both of them, of Donald Trump. That's the past. Focus on the now. The voters will thank you for doing that. Have a great weekend, rest of it anyway, and enjoy. I know yesterday was bad for the Giants, but enjoy day 2 of the playoffs. We'll get Terminello's take on everything that went down this weekend later in the week.